You ready to do this, Stu?
I am ready. Punch it, Chewie.
Welcome, super friends, to the Fortress of Nerditude podcast, a safe place to talk about all things in nerd and pop culture. I'm Spencer Stapleton, and my co-pilot is Stu Jones.
Pew, pew, pew.
We're two nerds that just refuse to grow up. Thank you for joining us. This is episode 111. We release every Thursday morning. You can find us on our website, fortofnerd.com. We have links to iTunes, Google Music, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, and everywhere podcasts are available. Stop by and relax a while. If you like what you're hearing, hit that subscribe button and get us automatically each and every week in your ear holes. Stu, I don't know why 111 stands out, but it's kind of a cool number to look at.
It's 11D1.
Ooh.
It's our 11st episode.
It's our 11st episode.
Bilbo would be proud.
We should have this episode under a giant tree and then do a little magic and disappear.
I already did.
Oh, dang it. Where did you go? Where did you go, Stu? Stu?
On an adventure.
Well, how has your adventurous last week been, speaking of an adventure?
Well, as far as the whole opening bit with two nerds that refuse to grow up, while I may refuse, life has a way of forcing me to do that anyway.
Life has a way?
And life has a way. Had to grow up. We're finally in the deployment stages of the project I've been working on for a year now.
Oh.
Which is ridiculous. I'm really glad it's going to be over soon, but it's going to be different. It was like a mini career, honestly. Wow. So there's that. And then, so I'm mentally fatigued. Physically, I'm a bit fatigued too, but for a much better reason.
Tell.
I have been beating the saber.
Stu, what exactly do you mean by that?
I mean, there's a game on virtual reality called Beat Saber.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yep. So I broke down and got PSVR. I already have the VR on PC. The problem is I have it in my office, and I don't have. I mean, if I'm playing a game that I can sit down in my chair, which is Elite Dangerous, really, I'm fine, and I can turn around and I can move, and everything's just great. But if I need to stand up, and especially if I need to move around, that doesn't work here. So we were sitting here talking about PlayStation stuff, and I was looking at some things, and I have some other friends that are playing Beat Saber, and I just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to take the plunge. There are some games that I would like to be able to move around and do. It's a bit decadent, if you will, to have two VR sets, I guess. But I mean, it's really not a bad price for the PSVR anyway. So got that with a bundle with Beat Saber and Borderlands 2 VR, which is completely worthless for VR in my opinion. But Beat Saber is incredible. I have not been that active in a long time, even when I was exercising regularly. I played that for hours for like 3 days in a row. And then woke up the morning of Morgana's birthday party, which was last Saturday, and it felt like I was in basic training all over the day after our first day, where I couldn't even lift my arm up to my face to shave. Just like my whole body was so sore, but in a good way. I've played it a few times since. I'm trying to get some good time in with that every day while I've still got the hype for it. It's so freaking fun. And it's challenging as heck, and I love it to death. So
I definitely have to come over and give that thing a try.
And it's fun. Morgana is playing it. She doesn't do a lot of video games, but she's even doing like when her mom had come over to pick her up, and I was like, hey, you got to try this, because she's not a video game player, but to see if she liked it. She actually kept asking to do another one of a higher level every time. But while her mom was playing, Morgana was like behind her at a safe distance, sitting there doing all the moves for the game, even though she's not like playing the VR.
So she's shadowboxing.
Yeah, she's shadowboxing the game while her mom
shadow
is playing.
sabering, maybe.
Yeah. So I mean, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, on top of everything that she got for her birthday and for Christmas, she's had probably more fun playing Beat Saber than anything else.
That is awesome.
But yeah, I mean, she loves it. She's getting better at it. And then, so 8th birthday for Morgana. Her birthday follows Christmas. She was very humble this year, didn't ask for much. And it's difficult to make her birthday stand out and be special with Christmas right beforehand.
Sure.
But given that it was, so humble, I decided to kind of go the extra mile. We went to Urban Air Adventure for her birthday party last Saturday, a few days after her birthday, which is like this big trampoline and climbing park. And it's really close to where we live. Yeah. And invited some of her Girl Scout friends and played there for a few hours. I got a private suite, which is a booth that overlooks the whole thing. Had an attendant that was there just so it was as low stress as possible. I got the package and only invited enough people so that the parents could participate as well. Because there's nothing like being a parent going to a kid's birthday party, wanting to do something and be like, I've got to buy my own thing. So all the grown-ups had passes, all the kids had passes. Had a really, really great time.
Cool.
And then, doggone it, there was something else, but I guess it wouldn't be me if I didn't forget, and I'll interrupt later. But yeah,
I have a feeling I may jog your memory.
I did also get the PS4 Pro.
Nice.
I have a dilemma though.
Okay.
So the idea would have been to put the PS4 Pro downstairs where I've got the PS4 right now, basically replace it with the VR.
Right.
But I have 4K on my TV / monitor up in my office. I don't have 4K downstairs. If I have it up here on the 4K, the PSVR does not pass through HDR. And HDR is really necessary for 4K to stand out. It's the vibrant color and everything else.
Yeah.
So if I have the PS4 with PSVR up here, I lose all that vibrant color on all games I play, whether I'm using VR or not. So the thought is having the PSVR downstairs on the regular PS4 and then having the PS4 Pro up here. But then now I have to contend with space on my desk, and I'll make it work though, because I want to play Red Dead Redemption 2 on 4K with the PS4 Pro just to see how it is. Apparently it's the most technologically advanced game that they've ever had on PlayStation. I need to see that just to experience, and obviously it's a fun game. So many people played it.
Someone told me, I feel like a week ago, someone told me that the price of a 4K TV is getting pretty darn cheap now, that it would be easy to upgrade. I believe someone told me that.
Yeah, well, tax returns are coming down the pipe, and don't think that hasn't been thought of. I've got a pretty big TV in my living room, though. I don't know. I wouldn't want to necessarily downsize, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just been gaming and playing and birthdays, and it's been a pretty eventful week.
Cool, man. Sounds
How
like
about
a good week. Well, I sold both of my PS4s this week.
Both?
Which I have two PS4s, or had two PS4s.
Well, I knew you had the PS4 and replaced it with, or got a PS4 Pro. Did you also sell the Pro?
No, I actually had two PS4s. I had one downstairs and then one upstairs.
Gotcha.
Originally, I bought one, and then I bought a second one because I got this great trade-in deal, and I put it in my office at work so I could play games on my lunch break. And then when I changed jobs and I went to a different job, the feel at the office wasn't the right feel. So I was like, even though it's my own personal time, probably not the best scenario. So I brought it home. So I had one upstairs, one downstairs. I sold them both, made enough money to cover the cost of the PlayStation 4 Pro. So basically it's just a wash. I've got the new one and it didn't cost me anything. And then I also sold my old GameCube and a few games, and I've been making some money on that, which is kind of being put aside because I may pick up that old PSVR for Beat Saber. That thing looks so dang good.
I mean, if I never played another game and still played that, it would be worth it, but it's not a $300 game, like if you get like a big bundle or something. I am excited to try some other stuff. Resident Evil 7 is apparently super scary in VR, so I'm looking forward to trying that and other things, but right now Beat Saber's got all the hype. But I digress.
Yeah, so like I said, I've got to come over and take a look at it. because I really want to evaluate this. Because if it's something that the boys could do and Brady could do, then that may make it easier for me to justify it.
Well, another thing that may help here is if you're not using a 4K TV, you lose nothing by using PSVR with the PS4 Pro. It does increase the VR resolution. It does increase the load times, as you've already seen that.
Yep.
So it would definitely be a better experience. And I feel like I do want to try it with the PS4 Pro. I may have to just get another PS4 Pro.
There you go.
Tax returns.
Let's see what else is going on. Brita and I got a babysitter this week, and we went on a date, and we went and saw Aquaman. And
global.
Let me tell you something, Stu. My expectations for this movie was really low. I was like
Solo
okay.
low?
It was like Solo low. I actually had a really good time. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it did drag on a little bit. There was parts that I felt like, okay, this is, the pacing and the plot could have been tightened up a little bit in some parts. But overall, it was really good. It was funny in places that I wasn't expecting it to be funny. My wife kind of came out of it saying, that was better than I thought too. She's like, but there was a few things that they did. She's like, I kind of thought that was a little weird. And I said, yes, but it was very comic book-esque. And it felt like you were actually watching a comic book. Here's the interesting thing. It was maybe the third weekend this movie's been out. We went to like a 7:15 show on a Saturday night. Mm-hmm. The thing was booked, packed, full. I mean, just crazy full. And I looked for the next night. I was like, I wonder what it looks like next night out of curiosity. Sold out. So right now, Aquaman is at 941 million worldwide. It is the highest grossing DCEU movie currently. It's going to pass the 1 billion benchmark worldwide. This movie is doing really freaking well. So I'd say go see it if you haven't.
I haven't. That was the thing that I forgot, though.
That you didn't go see it?
No, that Morgana and I watched Infinity War.
Ooh, nice.
And she actually liked it. Nothing really bothered her. It didn't. I think maybe because she is so young and she hasn't seen a lot of deep movies, that the fact that the good guys don't win didn't necessarily even register to her. But we also watched Black Panther. She hadn't seen that. So anyway.
Nice.
But she enjoyed it. It was fun.
Let's see. Other than that, man, it's just, kind of a normal week. I played a little more God of War. I'm really close on finishing up that Platinum trophy. And, just work, family. Charlie was sick a little bit yesterday, had some sort of stomach bug, and he had to miss the Bears game. We went together to my brother's place to watch that, but had to bring him back home. But other than that, just normal stuff. It's been a good week here. It's been a good week, and I'm looking forward to another good week.
Morgana even shoveled the sidewalk.
Get out of here.
Nope. Not lying.
Wow. What did you have to pay her to get her to do that?
Nothing. I actually said I was going to go out to shovel snow. She asked if she could help. She did the sidewalk. Wow. I did the driveway. And she did it good.
Nice.
So,
and then you add that to the list. Okay, now here's something else you can do. Yeah. Well, let's do the thing we like to do every week. The thing that's...
You know what? I am so eager to just... you should probably censor this next part out because I'm going to go crazy on those Bothans.
Well, here, let me hold this one for you, and you just go nuts.
Die, Bothans, die!
I always have to let you know, many Bothans died to bring us this information.
Rest in peace, you Bothans.
All right, Stu, we're into Rebel Intelligence. What do you have for me this week?
A whole bunch of dead Bothans.
Yeah, apparently, man, the slaughter was crazy.
Oh, it's a good thing people can't actually see this. But speaking of some slaughter, we finally... I think the date was already announced but never officialized. But we have a little mini trailer. Punisher Season 2.
Oh, yes.
Did you see the trailer? Just the little intro thing?
I did.
Yeah, so, we see Frank Castle in his Punisher gear and whatnot, just with the little dramatic flair and kind of circling around him. But what we also see is his good old buddy there. Oh, dang it. Billy Russo.
Yeah, Billy Russo.
Billy Russo in a really kick butt mask, in my opinion. And then also kind of like looking at kind of his face a bit carved up and whatnot. And it just, so, this is basically the Netflix adaptation of the Jigsaw villain, who's pretty much one of the arch nemeses of the Punisher. And the character association was already there, but definitely donning that moniker, even though they're not donning that persona, even though they're not calling him Jigsaw, much like they did Wilson Fisk, refers to himself once or twice as the Kingpin, as a Kingpin.
But they don't call him Kingpin, yeah.
Right, which, I'm sure there's like every time you say someone's name, it costs them $1,000 or something.
Or, if you say their name 3 times, that person comes alive.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice. Anyway.
But so we see Billy Russo post plastic surgery, and there apparently just like I believe it was earlier today, there was another trailer release that focuses on him. I haven't had a chance to watch that yet. But I guess the thing that we're looking for is the actual date that I promised, and that is going to be January 18th.
Oh,
this
breaks my heart, Stu, and I'll tell you why. I am so far behind on the Netflix stuff, and I want to watch Punisher Season 2, but Punisher Season 1 didn't really overlap with the other stuff, so I don't know if I'm going to be safe to watch this one out of order.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, but I don't know. I would say at the to mitigate a little risk there, maybe just get your butt finished up with the other Netflix stuff
and start powering through.
And even though it's not beneficial and nobody's said it, we know that there's not going to be a season 3 of The Punisher on Netflix.
Well, that's because Netflix is paying all the upfront cost to produce these shows, and they don't own the rights to them. So
yeah,
they've got to cancel because they know Disney's going to take them and do their own thing. So January 18th, we'll probably get cancellation news January 19th?
Let's see. 21st is a Monday.
Yeah, you think they'll give it a few days? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, Stu, for a Rebel Intelligence item, I'm going to go toys, man. We don't talk toys a lot, but over Christmas...
Yeah, we just talked about the PlayStation stuff. That's toys, dude.
That's video games. That's not toys. That's maybe adult toys. Wait a minute. Nope. Adult themed toys? Nope. Got it. Anyway, I'm beating the saber. My boys got me a Lego TIE Fighter for Christmas. And typically I get some sort of Star Wars Lego something. Maybe it's a little something, but I do like Legos, and I'm really trying to instill this love of Legos onto my boys. And of course, with the Lego movie and the Batman Lego movie, and now the upcoming Lego movie 2, the second part, there's great opportunity for some great Lego sets. And they've released this set, and I don't know if you've seen it, but it shows the new kind of town, what's happened after Duplo's invaded at the end of the first one, where they call it Apocalypseburg. And it's basically kind of like the end of Planet of the Apes with the Statue of Liberty and the sand, except they've taken that and they've kind of built a little city around it. This thing looks amazing. The cool thing is that they've got a whole bunch of little minifigs, which are probably going to make this thing a collectible because there's a lot of collectors out there that collect just the minifigs. But it's got some cool minifigs that collectors are going to go after. They've got the Where's My Pants guy. They've got a Mad Max kind of version of Batman, a dystopian Green Lantern, Chainsaw Dave, Mohawk, and a Justice League era Harley Quinn. This thing is 3,178 pieces of Lego-ness, all for the measly price tag of $300.
So basically it's 10 cents a Lego.
Sure. If that's how that math works out. I tell you what, this is one of those things where I don't think I would get this myself, but man, it looks cool. You should go check out the pictures, Super Friends, if you're into the Lego movie, if you love that first one. It just looks super detailed, lots of stuff going on. It would be a great piece to put together and then stick up on your shelf and just kind of leave there.
That's sad.
Well, I mean, you
Like,
really don't want kids to play with it, right? You got to
like-
use the Craggle, right? Right?
So that the giant Millennium Falcon, you better believe if I had that and put it together, I'd be finding a way to play with that.
I would want to actually like suspend that in the air and have it hang on some sort of like motorized track so I could get it to fly around and not have to touch it.
I wouldn't want to put the force of the acceleration on it to disintegrate that thing. Hanging it, yes. Getting it to move
No.
around.
Come on, man. That thing made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. It can handle a little force in the bedroom flying around.
That's
You'd
the
be
Lego
fine.
version, man.
Whatever.
Well, I'm gonna take things back away from you because I wasn't done announcing new seasons on Netflix of things.
Ooh, what else is coming up?
Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
Season 3.
I'm so excited.
Independence Day 2019.
4th of July, when I'm not working.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's going to be 4th of July, which departure from Halloween. I guess they had kind of hinted at it around the what was that? Oh man, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place right now. Anyway, so they last month they released a trailer that had just the episode titles, which
Okay.
yabba dabba do.
Yeah, I don't care about. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what you'd glean from that except to oh my gosh, there's an episode called The Yellow
Silly
Cup of Water.
Putty Rubik's Cube. Yeah.
Right. Hey, actually, Silly Putty Rubik's Cube would be a better one. Anyway, so, yeah, I guess the only thing I really know about this is that the couple of couples, so Mike and Eleven, and then Mad Max and Lucas, they're going to have their relationships. But of course, being young teenagers, what does that really mean?
A lot of passing notes. Will you go out with me? Yes, no.
Yeah, right.
Check the box.
But I mean, we know it's kind of coming of age kind of story, and relationships are part of that. All as are people around the relationships not being in them, and I'm sure all that little social dynamic will play out. And we saw some of that in season 2. So anyway, yeah, 4th of July this year. You guys can have your fireworks. I'll be watching season 3.
We're gonna have to talk about that offline because last year, Steve and I, or 2 years ago, I guess now, a year and a half ago, Steve and I did a Sidekick podcast where we talked about each episode in about 11 minutes, for the character 11, and we released, 9 of those things for each one. I think we're gonna have a repeat. Steve also did mention he would like to come back and do that as well. That would be kind of fun, maybe, if we could figure a way to make all three of us work to do that.
And given your luck, you would have technical difficulties every time.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, we're going to have to talk about that because I'm super excited about this thing. I love Stranger Things. Stu, I've also got some information on some upcoming stuff. So
Okay.
HBO is put out their kind of teaser trailer for the upcoming shows for this year. And in it, 2 or 3 little nuggets for a show that, we want to see. The Game of Thrones finale. They show a quick scene in there where you get to see Daenerys making it to Winterfell and confronting Sansa, which is great and exciting, but it's like literally 4 seconds long and that's all you see. And then you also kind of see a dragon fly.
Oh, that show's just a big ripoff of Song of Fire and Ice anyway.
Yeah. The other one is they showed a little bit of the new Watchmen show that's coming to HBO, which I'm really excited about. This thing, it looks good. I like the movie, but this is supposed to be closer, kind of a reimagining of that comic book.
Now, is this going to be a movie? Is it going to be a series?
It's a series. So it's going to be a series. So anyway, I mean, HBO was showing a bunch of their other stuff existing, but stuff that's kind of in our realm that looked really good was just a little hint of The Watchmen and the final season of Game of Thrones, and I'm excited. It's almost time for me to renew my HBO subscription so I can watch this stuff.
Yep, that's why I get HBO now.
Yep. I literally just get it right around the time I want to watch the stuff I want to watch, and then turn it back off again.
Yeah, I get it for Game of Thrones, so I can watch it the moment it comes out, and then catch up on all the other HBO shows in the middle of it.
That's exactly right. It's like, oh, I've got 8-9 weeks. Okay, I've got 8-9 weeks to plow through as much HBO content as possible.
So while I know we've said that because we know other people are going to listen to this podcast, I'm actually hoping HBO doesn't listen to this podcast, because if they were smart, what they would do is stagger all their other shows, all their other good shows, to start like 2 weeks after Game of Thrones and end 2 weeks after Game of Thrones ends, just to eke out a little bit more subscription time, get people hooked and into these shows with just an episode 2 or more to go. Or another month worth or whatever.
Could happen.
Yeah.
Could happen.
Just saying.
Yep.
Do I have anything else to talk about? I do. It's funny because while we're sitting here talking about these shows, I keep thinking I really want an update about the Lord of the Rings serial. Serial as in show, not...
The Amazon
As soon as I said it, I'm like, well, Lord of the Rings serial, thou shalt not pass. It's, kind of like a constipation thing. Anyway.
It must be full of bran.
Yeah. Little Gandalf bran bricks.
You shall pass me quickly.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, so one of the things about Steam games and their sales, as well as like the Humble Bundle that I talked about a little bit before, is that sometimes these games go on like really deep cut sales or included in other bundles because they're kind of an end of life, or they go into maintenance mode. They're not expecting it to ever really sell at premium prices anymore, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So last month, the Lego's Lord of the Rings and Hobbit games were included in a bundle at a really, really, really phenomenal price. And there was a lot of speculation that, that they're going to be, dropping down in price and they're not really expecting to sell them much anymore. But that, there's a little bit of doom and gloom that, that these really aren't going to be supported, and that may be the end of what we've seen. There was a promised third part to The Hobbit that hasn't been realized. Well, it has now actually been realized a little bit more scary than we thought. Warner Brothers has pulled the Lord of the Rings and Hobbits games from Steam, PlayStation Network, and the Xbox Network. No longer available for sale. So what this means is if you own them on any of those systems, you can still re-download them, at least for now. There hasn't been any games that I've seen except for one iPad game where once they drop it, you can no longer get it. So you should still be able to get it if you own them. But no more chances to purchase it, at least for the time being, unless there's a licensing issue that's resolved. But usually there's some information about why they do that. In this instance, Warner Brothers has not given any explanation other than to say that they're no longer for sale in digital stores.
Man.
No reasoning whatsoever.
I own The Hobbit digitally on my PlayStation, and I've got it downloaded. And then the Lord of the Rings I had on PS3. I really wanted it to come release on PS4 because I've played that game through like twice all the way. And I just love that game. Like, it's just so much fun. Lego games in general are fun games. But Lego Lord of the Rings was the first time they used voice acting and they used movie dialogue in a Lego game. And it just changed everything. So...
Well, I haven't played them, but fortunately I did get the Humble Bundle, so I do have them, and I even double-checked today to make sure that I had them on Steam, and I do. I own them, so I'm good.
Yep, make sure they're downloaded, right?
Yeah, but that's sad. I mean, that's the case for licensing. There was another new game, Star Control Origins, that just came out. Star Control 1 and 2, very, very, very old-school space RPG and shooter games, and... another company, Atari, bought the license for that a long time ago. Another company bought the license from Atari recently, but there are other licensing issues. So Star Control Origins, which is brand new, selling really well, disappeared just last week.
Wow.
It's no longer available. So the whole licensing thing is a big deal. And this is, that's your warning there. If there's a game that you really do want that's licensed, grab it when you think you can grab it, because the idea that it's going to be around forever is not true.
Right, exactly. That or still get a physical copy, because if you have a physical copy of any of those, you can always.
No, they actually come to your house and make you give it back.
Oh man,
yeah,
that's horrible.
It's the same police that come and inspect you for board games being played by players under the recommended age.
Oh, is that the same police that come and check your mattresses for tags?
Yep.
Dang it.
That's Special Squad.
Those guys are tough. All right, so I got one last thing, and this is a little bit longer than usual, but so I'm going to try to keep it somewhat brief. But the other night was the Golden Globes. Andy Samberg and Sandra Oh hosted it. And since we previously talked about the Golden Globes, and in past years we've actually had a whole episode where our discussion has been the Golden Globes, we kind of wanted to do something different this week, so I put it here in Rebel Intelligence. And so I'm going to try to kind of hit these. We can talk about them real briefly if we want. If not, we'll just kind of go down. So in case you missed the Golden Globes, if you were watching football, which was a big thing going on yesterday, or
playing the Old Republic,
or playing Beat Saber, or whatever, let me tell you what it is. So, Stu, I'm going to start right at the top with the big ones, because you inspired me to do that last time and then work down. Although I'm going to change that a little later in the show for something else. But anyway, in the movie category, the best motion picture drama was won by Bohemian Rhapsody, which I kind of thought was pretty cool.
Nice.
Since I saw that and I really did enjoy that. The best motion picture, musical, or comedy was won by The Green Book. And I'm only assuming that this is fits the musical category, because it didn't look like a comedy to me. I do want to go see it, but it did have a lot of music, and it had kind of is based on a musician, so I'm guessing that's why it fell into that category.
Well, I know we talked about The Martian fitting into the musical or comedy thing, and we speculated it was because of a couple one-liners. I think it was actually because of the disco. It was musical.
Wow. So anything with the soundtrack is going to qualify.
I'm surprised Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 haven't won that.
Right. Best director for a motion picture was won by Alfonso Cuarón for Roma. Best performance.
Netflix keeps pushing Roma on me, and I'm not watching it.
Well, now it's a best director picture, Stu.
That's okay.
Best performance by an actress in a motion picture drama was Glenn Close in The Wife. Best performance by an actor in a motion picture drama was Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody.
Hey!
Which I definitely think was deserving.
Oh, for sure.
Best performance by an actress in a motion picture, musical, or comedy was Olivia Colman from The Favorite. I thought for sure it would have been Emily Blunt for like Mary Poppins Returns, because she was fantastic, but nope. Olivia Colman. Best performance by an actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy, Christian Bale in Vice. That's that movie that's kind of about
I
Dick
really
Cheney.
actually want to see that.
Me too.
It looks pretty interesting. Musical or comedy?
I mean, that's supposed to be that show's supposed to be a dark comedy.
Oh, boy.
Best performance by an actress in a supporting role in any motion picture was Regina King, If Beale Street Could Talk. And best performance by an actor in a supporting role in any motion picture was Mahershala Ali for The Green Book. Best screenplay motion picture was Nick Vallelonga, Brian Curie, and Peter Farrelly for The Green Book. Here's the one that you were going to love and I love. Best motion picture animated, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
That's interesting that it even made it in that close. I would have thought... the timing is interesting. But yeah, deserve it.
Now,
I would have put that in
the Oscars.
I would have put that in a contention for best picture. Period. What
musical
animated
or comedy?
Not. Well, of course, everything. Of course,
not. It could have been for drama.
It's in the league of The Martian and movies like that. So,
best motion picture foreign language was Roma. Best original score motion picture was Justin Hurwitz for First Man, and I did like that score. And then best original song motion picture was Shallow from A Star Is Born. So that was the movies. Over here on the TV, best television series drama was The Americans, FX. Best performance by an actress in a television series drama was Sandra Oh for Killing Eve. Best performance by an actor in a television series drama was Richard Madden for Bodyguard. Best television series, musical, or comedy, The Comiskey Method, Netflix.
Huh.
Best performance by an actress in a television series, musical, or comedy was Rachel Brosnahan for The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Best performance by an actor in a television series, musical, or comedy was Michael Douglas for The Comiskey Method. Best television limited series or motion picture made for television was The Assassination of Gianni Versace, American Crime Story, FX. Best performance by an actress in a limited series or motion picture made for television, Patricia Arquette for Escape at Dannemora. Best performance by an actor in a limited series or motion picture made for television was Darren Criss, The Assassination of Gianni Versace, American
The
Crime
Assassination.
Story. Yeah. Best performance by an actress in a supporting role in a series, limited series, or motion picture made for television, Patricia Clarkson for Sharp Objects. And the last one, best performance by an actor in a supporting role in a series, limited series, or motion picture made for television, was Ben Whishaw for A Very English Scandal. And that is your Golden Globe winners. So we broke that down in just like 3 minutes instead of like a 3-hour, television show.
I ate a whole bucket of popcorn in that time.
Nice.
So before we move on, I have one follow-up, I guess, that was the big thing that I was going to follow up on. I forgot. Did you happen to watch Black Mirror?
The Bandersnatch.
Did you watch The Bandersnatch?
I did not watch The Bandersnatch or Black Mirror yet.
The Bandersnatch you have to, but the agreement was that you were going to try Black Mirror.
And that I will.
Okay.
Did I say I was going to watch it by this week?
No, I was just...
Okay, good. I was like, dang it, because I'm way off if that was the case.
But you need to watch Bandersnatch, soon.
So let me ask you this.
But I did not start Paul Ryan or Jack Ryan either.
Okay. So
I did start Travelers, though.
Really?
It's a little time-traveling drama on Netflix. It's actually pretty interesting.
See, you can't tell me these things and then say, I also promised to do other things, because now my interest is piqued. I love time-traveling stuff. Very much so.
Bandersnatch first.
All right, so here's the thing. I've got to get through the Marvel stuff so I can get to Punisher in 11 days.
Look, man, if I could find the time to do this stuff.
All right, it's on my list. It may be a month or two away before I can get to the Black Mirror, but I will see if I can get the Bandersnatch in.
You have to watch
a lot earlier.
Yep, we got to talk about that one when you do.
Okay, good. The other thing I noticed at the Golden Globes is that there was a lot of movies I think that we kind of thought had maybe a little more gravitas behind them or public support behind them, and the things that won were a lot of things that I either barely knew a little bit about or hadn't heard anything about. So
I am frankly surprised that Spider-Man won. I'm
pleasantly surprised.
Pleasantly surprised, yes, and deservedly so. But just because it was so late in the year, because there were some other big animation movies that came out. I would have said The Incredibles 2 would have been probably my top pick for the year. That would have been award worthy. Sure. And there were a couple others there. I'm kind of surprised that got the late grab, but so good.
Oh, so good. So good. Well, that's the last thing I had in Rebel Intelligence. Did you have anything else for Rebel Intelligence?
Nope. The Bothans are now spared for another week.
Well, in that case...
You'd think they'd stop gathering intelligence in the first place, but...
I mean, you'd think, right? Stu, last week we had a conversation. We talked about the best of 2018, the things we loved the most, and we asked our super friends what was their favorite thing. What did they love the most? And we got a couple answers. We got a voicemail, and then we also have a secret question of the week that we also put out and made it a poll.
Totally secret.
Totally secret. And I want to give you all of those and hit those up.
All right, let's do it.
Let's start over the email like we always do, fortofnerd@gmail.com. You can send us your answers there in long form, or you can send us questions and we'll read them. This comes from our good friend Peter Christensen. He says, Dear Nerds, For the Super Friends, this wasn't the last episode of 2018. It was the first of 2019. That is true. It did release in 2019, but we recorded in 2018. So, yeah. He says, I hate you for asking whether Infinity War or Into the Spider-Verse was the better movie. I'm going to say that Infinity War is the perfect Chris Pine Spider-Man from the beginning of Spider-Verse, and the MCU was dangled into Kingpin's machine, pulling in the perfect superhero movie from another alternate reality. They're both just remarkable, but I'll give Spider-Verse the nod since it gave me the plot device to choose both of them.
Okay.
This is definitely not because I'm trying to nod to more movies, but I'll say that my favorite nerdy things of 2018 were the two funniest movies, Ralph Breaks the Internet and Ant-Man and the Wasp. There were so many amazing and intense movies, but these two had me smiling and laughing all the way through. Probably two that I had the most fun watching.
See, yeah, that's one of them right there. Ralph Breaks the Internet. I would even expect to have a higher chance of winning an animation
Golden
award,
Globe?
the Golden Globe. Yeah.
That was such a good movie. I cannot wait till we can purchase it and watch it about a gazillion times with the boys. He says, here's my idea for Fortress of Nerditude 2019. Instead of a drinking game... instead of a drinking game, let's do a fitness game.
I'll do the drinking game.
You're going to have to do the drinking game and the fitness game at the same time. We'll see what happens. This could be
While
fun.
I'm playing Beat Saber.
Yes. He says, listen to the show, and here's what to do when one of these things happens. And then he says, cut out whatever's too boring to read. But I actually like all these, so it's kind of fun.
Okay.
He says, video game rules. 5 push-ups whenever someone mentions God of War.
Okay, you'll have them doing push-ups.
Yep. 5 sit-ups whenever someone mentions World of Warcraft.
I'll have them doing sit-ups.
5 air squats whenever someone doesn't do the game homework assigned to them. That'll happen quite a lot.
Huh.
Movie rules. First trailer review of the episode. Stretch to touch your toes and hold until the next section. I love that. He says, first TV show review. Arm stretches until the next section. Stu and Spence disagree on a movie rating. Jog in place until the next section.
Fortunately, there won't be a lot of jogging. Some, not a
a
lot.
ton. Some, not a ton. Stu and Spence agree on a movie rating. Eat a leaf of lettuce or baby carrot.
I have a bag of baby carrots in my fridge right now.
Yeah, Super Friends, you better be loading up on lettuce and baby carrots. He says, FON favorites, jumping jacks during the opening and closing credits, and shadow boxing during the Bothan killing song. He says, lots of room to grow this. Cheers, Peter Christensen. What do you think of that idea,
Peter,
Stu?
that is amazing.
So good.
Fortunately, or unfortunately, whatever, I actually have to record, and for audio quality purposes, I can't do all that while we're recording, so...
I actually think this is more for the Super Friends, though, to get fit. So every time we do these things, they can. Yeah.
But I'm a narcissist, so it's all about me.
Well, we can probably figure out a way we could do something like that. Maybe when I edit it, man, that would take me forever to edit. Especially if I had like jog in place while I'm trying to like actually do the editing. Ooh. Peter, you may have just given me quite the challenge. Yeah. Let's go over to Twitter. We've got an answer. This comes from our good old friend Nerd-ish 1000000011. I would say a very blessed year. Started a new job in IT, bought a car, started enjoying life again. For my B-Day, I relaxed on the beach with an adult beverage. Tried some new places to eat. 2019 is going to be even bigger. I like that. So his favorite things were he says I missed part of this. For my B-Day, I relaxed on the beach, smoked a cigar while enjoying an adult beverage. There you go.
I was going to say, is there's like, do you got to censor that? Is it,
No, it's actually the image didn't pull up and I was reading from the thumbnail. But he says he's also going to Nashville in April. So that's awesome. At Deesman67 on Twitter. That sounds like a good 2018, and I like that you've got a good positive attitude. Looking forward to 2019. Because I'm doing the same. 2019 is going to be awesome. Stu, we got a voicemail. Any guesses on the voicemail?
Gosh, is it Spider-Man?
It could be Spider-Man. Let's find out.
What's up, Fortress of Nerditude? This is Paul Calico coming at you real quick because I'm on my way down to Mexico. My all-time favorite thing of 2018 has got to be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The movie was a latecomer, but it absolutely blew me out of the water. Anyway, guys, about to head out of here. Else time.
All right, it's not Spider-Man, but it's Paul Calico. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was his favorite thing. I like that.
I think he may be Spider-Man.
In Mexico?
Well, I mean, obviously his favorite movie of the year, really pandering. Hello.
Yeah, he's really kind of force-feeding that a little, huh? Yeah. Listen, your friendly neighborhood L Spider-Man. Nice job. Well done. You deserve the Golden Globe you just won. All right, so we did ask a super secret question of the week, which was Stu's idea, and I loved it. So we put out a poll on Twitter. We said, which was better, Avengers Infinity War or Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? And we got 63 votes in.
Holy crap.
And 70% said Avengers Infinity War. Only 30% Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I'm not surprised that it would have won. I am surprised by the margin, though. I actually thought it would have been a lot closer.
Because for me, it was a coin flip. I loved both of them so much, but it just kind of came down to a few small things for me. And you said you were pretty much kind of the same way, but you went the other way.
And after having watched Infinity War this last weekend, that coin still is teetering. So
yeah. Yeah. It's like the little top at the end of Inception. Is it going to fall? Is it not going to fall? Who knows? So we also got a couple answers, though, on this. So the Yes But Why podcast at YBY Podcast says, I feel like someday the answer will be different. I hear Spider-Verse is amazing, and in a few years, it'll be a classic, but right now the Infinity War movie wins. It had so much build-up to get to it. It was a successful payoff to years of universe building. Which makes sense. Also, he says that he hears Spider-Verse is amazing, so he hasn't seen it. So maybe not a true fair comparison, but I get what he's saying. A culmination of, 10 years of stuff for that payoff.
Right.
The IMDb Journey podcast at IMDb Journey says, both great films, but, and then it's a gif of Thanos doing the old snapping. So he's also going to go with Avengers Infinity War. And then we got Matthew Shepard at Shepdog921 says, funny, my son asked me this same question 2 days ago. I said Spider-Verse, but it's close. I just think at the end of the day, Spider-Verse will have left more of an imprint in my memory. I don't know. I get that, right? That for me, the Spider-Verse is... it was a very impactful movie because I wasn't expecting much, whereas there was a lot of anticipation and build-up for Infinity War.
I don't know. I find Infinity War to be like one of the most impactful movies I've seen in a long time, second only to Spider-Man. I mean, the good guys don't win. There's a villain that it's easy to at least sympathize with, even if you don't agree. Like there's some humanity to it. There's some practicality to it. He's not your standard go and blow everything up and maniac. Well, I mean, yes, he is, but he also has a layer of, he has some remorse, and it's just a very deep character, and the bad guy kind of wins there. So I think it's very impactful. I think for me, the reason would be that Infinity War, given the test of time, like say 5 years from now, I almost guarantee that Spider-Man will have left a longer standing impression because it stands on its own. Whereas Infinity War, because it's part of that whole buildup and part of that whole universe, the whole universe itself becomes the macro concern, the thing you care about, and the growth of it and the death of it eventually. 5 years. Who am I kidding? They'll still be pumping these things out. But But it's not like Infinity War will have stood on its own, especially given that we have Endgame coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. We definitely saw on the poll the margin was a little wider than we thought it was going to be, but that's why we run these official polls on social media, because
the studios see this, and
yeah.
we get our kickbacks.
Kevin Feige's giving me a call and asking my opinions on how we can get this Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse tied into the MCU now.
Oh, there you go.
He wants to know what I think, how Sony's going to react when he pushes on him.
Yeah,
so,
I was too busy to take his call. So,
well, admittedly, you were Beat Sabering it up with Mo.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, anyway, Super Friends, thank you so much. We love and appreciate your interaction with us each and every week. You know where to find us. You can get us at all of our usual places. We're on email. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on the voicemail. We're on Instagram. We're basically Fort of Nerd at all those places. You can't miss us. We're everywhere that you want to be.
Including Antarctica. Confirmed.
True. Actually, I have been watching, when we get downloads and whatnot, I can see when like other countries download us. We've got a listener in Spain and Thailand recently. So we are international again, my friend.
Global.
Yeah. Stu, since we are a global podcast now, how can our super friends here and abroad help us out each week?
Well, I guess at this stage we need to have an international distributor of baby carrots and lettuce.
Ooh, good call.
That's an official thing. I expect everyone to be adhering to their new exercise regimen. We will not be modifying the format of the show just to cater to that in any way. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But yeah, you know what? Seriously, if anyone takes that up, I want to hear about it.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
Take
a picture.
Let us know, even
please.
if it's just like for one episode, whatever. That's such a phenomenal idea. Love it. In the meantime, when you're waiting for your baby carrots to arrive on the truck that you're going to need to cart them all, be sure to stop by iTunes, give a 5-star rating in passing, just to say, hey, pump up the numbers there, get us noticed, get people, new super friends listening to us, show up on some lists, that kind of thing. And as always, if you're having a conversation, tell a friend about us. Let us know about the conversation, what was meaningful about it, what about the podcast sparked the conversation or came from it. And yeah, get your friends involved and expand the conversation network, much like Amway.
Yeah. You tell 3 friends, they tell 3 friends. Eventually, all the friends have been told.
And you'll get credit. You will officially get credit from...
Yes, somehow you're going to go from like a super friend to like a gold starred super friend.
Duper friend.
Ooh. Can we make a special little club with pins?
Sure, absolutely.
Special passwords to get into the super duper friend club?
Yeah, but it's so super duper secret that we can't know about it, so you guys have to manage it on your own.
Good call, Stu. Good call. I love it. Let's do it. Stu, I had this idea for our discussion this week. I said, you know what? 2018 is over. We're rolling now into 2019. Let's look at what we're excited for in 2019. Let's do like a top 10 list. And you're like, that'll take too long. Let's do a top 5 list. And I was
then I ended up coming
sure.
up with almost 10 anyway, but...
Yeah, and I'm
but
I'm
top
at
5.
17. I'm at 17 on my list, and I put out stuff. I went, okay, this isn't even in like this is I want to, but not like I have to. And I got to 17, and then I finally cut it down to 5, and I made the miserable task of having to do that, which was rough.
It took me like 5 seconds, man.
Yeah, it took me like 7 hours.
It took me 5 seconds only because from the moment you mentioned it to me, it wouldn't escape my head, so I already had it figured out.
Yeah, nice. So
I just happened to coincidentally have a list of top 5 things I'm looking forward to in 2019.
Look at that.
Through the magic of podcasts.
So I tried. I'm gonna kind of lay this out here for the super friends. I tried to look at different categories: movies, TV shows / streaming shows, video games, books. Anything that potentially could be coming out. And I tried to pick my things I'm excited for in each category. And then I tried to compress that down into just 5. And I realized that I don't have a video game in my top 5.
You know what? I tried to do the same thing when I was thinking of things. Okay, I need to pick a video game. Okay, I need to pick a board game, or I need to pick...
Yeah.
And then when I ended up coming out of it, it was like, well, even though it's a video game, I'm not as excited for that as I am for this show over here kind of thing. So,
right.
So really, I just kind of abandoned that and just went, you know what? The top 5 things that I am definitely looking forward to.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Me too. So with that said, I think we do the thing where I'll let you go number 5, I'll go number 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2.
Are we going to ladder it up, or are we just going to keep alternating? Because we tried the ladder with the top movies before, and you kind of botched it a little bit.
Here's the thing. Let's ladder it. We'll start at 5. We'll go to 2, and then we'll get to put in 2 honorable mentions, and then we'll hit our 1. How does that sound?
I actually have an honorable mention. So
there you go.
That works. All right.
Okay. So you're number 5. You're number 5, Stu.
All right. Well, actually, we talked about this a little bit last week, and it's actually kind of rare that that I'm anticipating a video game these days. Not so much because there aren't great games that come out, but because I'm really kind of catching up on all those games that I've wanted to play for a long time, or that have been out for a little while and I just got them on sale, or I'm really in kind of a catch-up mode and enjoying games that I've been wanting to play regardless of whether they're new or not. But Anthem.
Yeah.
I am so unbelievably stoked for Anthem. Like, I'm already planning on buying it on PS4 just because I know you're playing it and you've got a network of friends and whatnot, and I'll probably be playing it on the 4K up here in the office. Maybe even doing some live streaming.
Ooh.
I did that a little bit with Bloodborne. It's amazing. Like we had that episode where we talked about streamers and people that watch them, and my surprise that people do that. But like, you just fire it up and people just start watching your stream, and you don't even really have to talk. Obviously, the more entertaining you are, the more popular you become, the more people come back. But
have you ever thought about doing streaming?
I did do streaming. That's what I was just saying. I did it with
Well,
Bloodborne.
I mean, I know you said you did with Bloodborne, but like on a more like regular basis.
Yes.
I thought about doing it some. I don't know if I'd have the time to necessarily, but I like that idea because it sounds fun and it's,
Yeah. But Anthem, I mean, it just looks so good. I need to get my hands on the demo. It's the perfect small group experience kind of thing. You don't need to have a large group of friends, just a couple buddies that you can play with.
Yeah, like 4 is the max, right?
Yeah, and looks so good.
I'm really looking forward to that game, Stu. I couldn't find a spot for it on my top 5 though.
Yeah, it was tough, but I'm definitely looking forward to it there.
I wanted to. I really wanted to, but I just couldn't get it there. So my number 5 is something that I actually thought was going to be a lot higher, but I realized 2019 is a crowded field for stuff I'm excited for. So number 5 for me is season 3 of Stranger Things. I cannot wait till Independence Day. I cannot wait to celebrate with fireworks that evening and all of the freaking streaming of Stranger Things earlier in that day.
That one kept bouncing in and out of my number 5 when I was putting it together.
It for me too, because I had a couple other things that were real close, but ultimately I realized that I'm excited for it. I've wanted this since the first season came out. I've wanted more of this, and after doing the Sidekick podcast on it the last go around for season 2, I know I want to do that thing again. So I'm just pumped. It's going to be a great summer, and I can't wait for Stranger Things season 3.
I would say that is an easy number 6 for me.
Just barely missed the cut.
Just barely, but easily above the other things that were kind of floating like top 10. So
yeah. All right. So what do you got for number 4?
No, you go number 4. We're gonna ladder it.
Oh, we're gonna ladder it. Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the old salmon ladder. Gotcha.
Salmon chat at evening, you will meet a sturgeon.
All right, my number 4 is the HBO series finale, Game of Thrones. I am so pumped for this thing. I've read the books up to where the books are current. I played the living card game and managed that community.
Yes, you did.
The TV show has been great. This is one of those IPs that I just love. I'm a fanboy. I've got all sorts of stuff for this. I'm anticipating this. I'm super excited. Like I said, I only saw like maybe 4 seconds of it on that little HBO in-depth look at what's coming up in 2019, and I just got so geeked out over this thing. I can't wait to see what's going to happen and how this is all going to conclude. And then what George R.R. Martin's going to do with his books to finish off his series and see how it differs.
My number 4 is basically number 4 for me was the gate of which everything that was number 1 through 3 was, do I anticipate this more than number 4? Which was Game of Thrones.
Really? Game of Thrones is your number 4 as well. That's awesome.
Yeah. So stoked to see the conclusion of that. In my opinion, everything that the last 2 seasons were what I'd been waiting for the whole time. Yeah. I haven't read the books, so my only context was the show, but knowing that certain plot devices had been put in motion early on, seeing how those culminate and starting to see those come to fruition towards the end of this all, I want to see how that all kind of comes together, and we know we're still in for some twists and turns. I would say expect nothing.
Yep. Or expect everything and just be way wrong.
Yeah, because disappointment is fun.
Somehow Eddard Stark's going to come back to life. I know it. I just know it.
So for me, the number 3 thing is the first thing that I was anticipating more than Game of Thrones. And that is Punisher Season 2.
Ooh.
I loved Punisher so much, and it was such a departure from what we had seen from the other shows. Like, it really, even though the main characters, Jessica Jones, Danny Rand, Iron Fist, and Daredevil, even though they all had thematically different shows, which is great, Punisher really seemed to almost be produced by an entirely different company altogether. Like, it just had an entirely different feel to it and didn't feel like it was set in the same world so much. And it stood alone really, really well. I'm excited to see what happens with Billy Russo, the whole falling down the villainous rabbit hole to psychosis. And I mean, just, it's going to be crazy. Because even though he was a bad guy, he was very smart, very well put together, had a very solid plan. This is going to be a different version of the same guy who's got still the same evil in there without the shackles of planning and forethought.
Yeah.
I'm in the mask looks bad too, so.
Man, I love that Punisher's on your list because I couldn't find a spot for it on mine, but I'm so excited for it. And gosh, I'm so nervous that I got so much Marvel Netflix stuff to get through before the 18th. I literally am gonna have to start watching it while I'm walking on my treadmill, and then in the evenings, and like.
I'm just ashamed for you that you haven't been already.
I know. Well, what are you gonna do? Okay, my number 3, which I'm anticipating is gonna be on your list somewhere, because I know how excited I am for this, and I know you are as well. My number 3 is Glass, which comes out
I knew you were
like
going to say that.
11 days. Oh, man.
11.
I saw when I was at the Aquaman movie, they showed the trailer again for Glass, and I was sitting with Brita, and she said, I want to see this, but oh man, the Beast, he looks so scary, because she struggled watching Split. Because she does not
I'm
like
sorry,
stuff
that
like
is like my top of all time. That is my top acting role.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Yeah, you got the culmination of the previous 2 movies in this Shamalama Ding Dong verse that we didn't know really existed, that was tied together until the end of Split, and now we're getting villains teaming up. It's Elijah Prince really trying to push and test David Duke and see if really, or David Dunn, not David Duke. Ooh. Totally different person.
And I would expect that, yes, he is.
Right. Really testing David Dunn to see, really is he who he thinks he is, which has been his MO since the beginning in, freaking Unbreakable. He finds him, and then now he wants to, test him out. And we're going to get to see this, and I love it. I'm excited. The actors in this thing are fantastic. It looks great. Ugh! I can't wait, and I know we are going to be doing a movie club on this movie.
Yeah.
That was my number 3, Glass.
All right. What's your number 2?
Oh, it's my turn again, right?
Yeah.
It's the old ladder, the salmon ladder. My number 2 here, and I thought this was going to be my number one. Avengers Endgame is my number two.
What? Well, now the question is begged. What is going to be your number one? Holy crap!
This is my number two. It's going to be the second part of Avengers Infinity War. 10-year build up. I got to know what's going to happen. I want to see what's going to happen to all of our favorite superheroes and get an idea, because we really have no idea what's going to happen in Phase 4, the next upcoming phase of the MCU, which we will have an answer after Endgame. We will have an idea of who's still around, who's not around, what's going on. And man, I'm so excited for this movie.
All right, so what I'm doing right now, so I could not have imagined what would be higher for you than Avengers Endgame.
Okay.
However, I think I have a guess, and I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to write it down, and I think I know what your number one is, and we're going to see if I'm right. My number two, and you were absolutely freaking correct, Glass.
Oh, yeah.
I was actually surprised that the hype kind of died down after that first trailer, and it kind of went away, so I'm glad to hear that trailers are starting to spark up for it again. I didn't see a single trailer after I think we talked about it before. So, yeah, everything you said about Glass, the Beast, and all the other personalities from Split, best acting job I've ever seen. They were pulled off so... I thought it was a gimmick when I saw the trailer for the movie and didn't think I would really like it all that much, but obviously I was wrong. And to see him team up with Glass and chills. I need to see this so bad, and it's coming up. It's so close. And whether or not I see it on opening day, or I'll be seeing it on opening day, I'll be seeing it on my birthday, probably sometime in between there, because you're taking me on my birthday.
I told you I'm taking you for your birthday, yeah.
All right. So, yeah, that's my number two for sure. I mean, I can't really say anything else about that. It's just...
so good. So good. Okay, so before you get to your number one, now let's do the honorable mentions.
Yes.
So, do you have two honorable mentions you would like to say are things that you really are excited for and you want to see, but yet you couldn't quite find a spot for them in the top 5?
Yes. The first one is Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 for Switch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you talked about that before.
Very stoked to have that come out. Action RPGs seem to be the perfect... They work perfectly on Switch. Diablo 3 demonstrated that very, very well for me. Ultimate Alliance 3 is definitely going to be one that I'll probably have Nintendo thumbs again for the first time in a long time, from rubbing my thumbs over those controllers, just jamming it and controlling it like crazy. Very, very stoked for that. The other one isn't necessarily so much that it couldn't make the list, just that I kind of went back and forth on whether I'm actually excited for it or not. And that is Episode 9.
Okay.
Star Wars, love Star Wars, excited to see the end of the Skywalker saga, but a little bit burnt from The Last Jedi, and I can't, it feels forced to feel excited for Episode 9. It's going to come around, I'm going to see it, it's more inevitable than it is anticipation. I know I want to see it, I know I love Star Wars, I'm playing Old Republic right now, loving every minute of it, honestly. I can't. I feel guilty for not having it in my top 5.
Wow. Very two solid honorable mentions. I like that. So I'm going to go with a video game for one of my honorable mentions, and it's not Anthem. Anthem was in one of the 3 video games that I chose, but I didn't make the cut. For me, it's Kingdom Hearts 3. And the reason is that I've played, all the mainline games in that series. My kids have been watching me replay them. My wife watches me play them. She enjoys it. So, I know for me that I've been looking forward to this game for, over a decade. And on top of that, now I get to share that love for this series with my kids and my wife. And so I know they're going to want to watch me play it. So for me, that's an honorable mention. I'm really looking forward to that game in 2019.
I would have been looking forward to that more if I had actually played through the rest of them like I had planned. I actually bought them all, and I have everything. I even have... I bought the package that has Kingdom Hearts 3, so I have it when it drops.
Yep.
But I did not get around to playing them.
All right, my last
many
honorable
things.
mention. Star Trek Discovery Season 2. I am so hyped to see what's going to happen. We get Spock.
That would have been like 7 or 8 for me.
Oh, man. I'm so pumped for this, and I know it's coming up real quick. As a matter of fact, Brita even said, she's like, I need to watch that first season before we watch the second. I was like, yeah, you do. Which gives me an opportunity to go back and watch the first season again.
Nice.
So that was my honorable mention. I had a bunch of other stuff that I could have said honorable mentions, this and that, just stuff that just made the cut, but those two, I'm really pumped for.
Yeah,
So.
Star Trek Discovery probably in the top 10. I do have some hesitations about the look and feel of it being less dark than Season 1. I expect I'll enjoy it. I don't expect I'll enjoy it as much as I did Season 1, especially the last half of that. But, I mean, it's still something I'm really looking forward to watching.
And it could totally be a fake out with what they're showing you, and it could be a lot darker. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Time will tell. Okay, Stu. So now it's number 1 territory. The biggest thing you're most excited for in 2019.
A steady girlfriend.
Oh. Yep.
Anyway, moving on. Even more than that, though, Avengers Endgame.
Okay. Yeah.
Only because I don't know where the next Spider-Verse surprise is laying in wait. But as much as I loved Spider-Verse, and again, flip-flopping, watching Infinity War this last weekend, I think there were some misses in the MCU leading up to the Infinity War. And I think some things could have been done better. I think the Age of Ultron pacing was terrible. I think the editing was horrible, and it just could have been put together so much better. Civil War, almost the same thing, and it's like they kind of threw too much. I still enjoyed it. But, I mean, just to say that there were some things that led up to it that had me thinking that maybe it wasn't going to be the big, all-encompassing winner that everyone hoped it would be. Very happy to be wrong. Infinity War was brilliant. It was smart. It didn't overdo anybody. It brought together a couple teams in a really solid fashion while still somehow maintaining the thematic elements of each of the different franchises. It was just done so good. And to be caught off guard the way that I was with that movie, and the way that it's being marketed now so carefully to remind you of where things left off and to see how things are going to come together, oh man, somehow even more than Glass, I am definitely anticipating Endgame.
Nice. Like I said, that's a great number 1. It was my number 2. And it was close. It was close to my number 1. But my number 1 is Star Wars Episode 9.
I was right.
And here's my reason why. I'm a Star Wars fanboy. I have been and always will be. I love Star Wars, and I'm really looking forward to the conclusion of the Skywalker saga. You're not wrong. For me, The Last Jedi was a misstep. There were some things in there that just did not sit well with me, and I don't think it was nearly as good as The Force Awakens. But we got J.J. Abrams coming back to the helm for Episode 9, and I think that he's going to, this is just my thinking, but I think he's going to maybe reverse or backtrack a little bit some of the things that Rian Johnson did in the Last Jedi, and find a way to kind of go back to maybe some of those breadcrumbs that he dropped in The Force Awakens that just kind of were seemingly left alone. The Force Awakens was so good. Even though we've talked about it was kind of a retread of A New Hope, it was so good, and it really pumped a new life into the Star Wars franchise. I think it's going to go out on a high note. We're going to get the conclusion, and I'm anticipating, knowing that it's JJ, we're going to get some, some potential things that could give us hope for maybe what could be coming down the road in this old Star Wars verse. I know it comes out towards the end of the year, so I know it's going to be a little while for a lot of people to get hyped, but it's Star Wars, and I love Star Wars, and I looked at it, I was like Avengers Infinity War, follow-up with Endgame, or Episode 9, and I went back and forth, and I said, honestly, at the end of the day, if I had to choose one fandom that I want, one thing I want to see more than anything, I got to see Jedi Knights. I want to see lightsabers. I want to see the Force more than I want to see Tony Stark and Iron Man. Not by much, but I do.
It's no accident that JJ's coming back. He was not the first director for Episode 9, and that's kind of been treaded, and it's definitely very pointed that he's going to be doing that. It is a salvation move.
Yeah.
But I mean, with good reason, I think. As I said, it's probably that it's more inevitability than anticipation. I haven't seen a trailer for it yet, so obviously we don't even have an inkling about what we're going to be seeing.
Right.
This could very well change after we do see the first trailer, which is very, 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 very 99% likely to be dropped in April. So yeah, I mean, talking about that again, I'm not surprised. I dare say, even though it's not my number one, that I'm just as much a Star Wars fanboy.
The hype's not enough there that you could put it in your top 5.
Yeah,
I get it, and that's okay.
Yeah. But that's why it was the honorable mention. I know it's there, and I know there's a part of me that's dying. He's just sleeping right now.
Yep.
See the first trailer, and things will change. I mean, I'm playing the Old Republic right now like crazy. There's just so much that's been improved in that game, and blasters and sabers going crazy every single time makes me giddy.
Yeah, right.
And playing Beat Saber, whoa!
Yeah,
you could so it has the PSVR has the move controllers, which are those sticks with the ball on the end kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's even like when you cross the beams. When you cross the sabers, it vibrates them so you can kind of feel when they touch. And
that's awesome.
It's so
that's awesome. We definitely have to plan time for me to come over. Great. Well, Stu, this has been fun. Like I said, I could have had a top 10 and still had honorable mentions because there's a lot coming up in 2019. 2019 is jam-packed. So here's the deal, Super Friends. We want to hear what your top 5 is for 2019. What are the things you're looking forward to? Is it a video game? Is it a TV show, a streaming? Is it a book? Is it a movie? What is it? Let us know. You can get us on our email, which is fortofnerd@gmail.com, on Facebook, which is facebook.com/fortofnerd, Twitter @fortofnerd, our voicemail, 801-477-7687, or Instagram, fortofnerd. Let us know what you're looking forward to. What's your top 5? And we will read those back to you next week. How about that?
Sweet. And don't forget, let us know if you take Peter Christensen's Fortress of Nerditude challenge, fitness game.
Yeah, his little fitness game. A little write-up, a picture, whatever. I tell you, I will laugh so hard if I find out that thing catches on and people are doing that to get healthy and fit this year.
At least an episode. But the problem is now that I know that I'm making people do sit-ups anytime I mention World of Warcraft, guess what my next 5 episode suggestions relate to?
Probably God of War.
Yeah, actually.
For push-ups.
Those hurt.
Well, Stu, it's been a lot of fun. I'm glad we had a chance to get together and do this once again. Episode 111 in the books. How about that?
11st.
11st.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Bilbo. All right. Well, from all of us here at the Fortress of Nerditude to all of you out there, wherever you may be, may the Force be with you. Always.